Howdy folks, Mackie here with Mackie Red Horsemanship. We just got So Be It in a couple days ago. This is his first real time working in the round pen. I got my cup of coffee here and we'll kind of walk through kind of my basic principles of round penning and why I do what I do, and hopefully it'll be able to help you with your horses or horses that you're helping out. So he's just young, going on 2. He's a thoroughbred. His owner has high hopes for him, and he's given me the opportunity to work with him, and so I'm very excited about that. But like I tell everybody when I do a clinic or I do a demonstration about round penning, the first thing you want to do when you get in the round pen with a horse is do nothing. Just stand there. Give the horse an opportunity to tell you what he's thinking, and you can watch So Be It. You watch right here, he's going to turn around and look at me, and I can see him out of the corner of my eye. I don't have to stare at him. But he kind of looks at me, takes a step toward me, and then decides, I'm not really sure. Now, I have worked with So Be It one other time, and that was really when I went to get him and put him in a trailer. He'd never been in a trailer in his life, and so that took us a little bit of doing, but I don't know, 15-20 minutes he was loaded in the trailer, and we'll start his trailer loading program next week. But you'll notice that I just walk away, but I'm just waiting, and I'm going to set this up for him to succeed by he's looking in the direction of going counterclockwise. So we're just going to go with it, and I'm going to ask him to move by point, then I clock, and if he doesn't go, I get after him. But he could have walked. He chose to trot, and that's fine. I don't really care at what speed he leaves, but now he has to maintain that speed. And so in the course of this, I'm looking for 3 things in a horse. I'm looking for his inside ear to be fixed on me, and there you can see his inside ear is. The second thing I look for is licking and chewing, and then the third thing I look for is for him to begin to lower his head to the ground. And these are all 3 signs of paying attention and ultimately submitting to me as the leader in this herd, our herd of 2. It's really difficult for you to capture the time in which he does lick and chew, but you'll see it, you'll know it, because I'm going to let him rest almost the minute that he gives me that sign. So right now we're just going to let him trot around. You know, I'm trying not to put any more pressure on him than is necessary to keep him going at a trot. And really, he's the one who should work. Now I want him to canter, and he ignores me. And he goes back to a trot, so I point, clock, and I spank the ground right behind him. But he needs to stay at the canter, and he doesn't understand what I want, so that's why he goes back to the trot. So I'm just going to stay after him, and you're going to watch that his cantering around the round pen will get better and better and better. And here, as soon as I can get him to canter 1 full circle without stopping, I'm going to let him go back to a trot. Right now we're establishing our communication. You see the camera shake around as So Be It's kind of running into the rail as he goes around. And it's just because he doesn't know. So I'm picking up my energy, help him keep up his energy, and the minute he is able to make a full circle at a canter, I let him go back to a trot. So remember, you're establishing yourself as a leader, you're establishing some communication with the horse so that he'll understand the next time that I point that I want him to take off at a canter, and I want him to maintain that canter. In the round pen, this exercise, you want to be the one who controls the horse direction, speed, when he stops, and there he went into his canter a little bit easier. But you want to have control here, because ultimately when we go to ride So Be It, you know, I don't want him deciding what direction he's going to go, or how fast he's going to go, or when he's going to stop. I want him to leave all of that up to me, and otherwise he wouldn't be a very safe horse to ride if he made all the decisions on his own. So It's really kind of our goal, is to establish control. So he gave me the sign of licking and chewing, and that's why I stopped and backed up. And he doesn't have to do anything here. I just really want him to look at me. Ultimately, I want him to face me. But this is good enough for now. He's learning that if I stop, and he'll stop too, and rest. My buddy Mark's leaving away, waving goodbye to him. So now so be it as looking more directly at me. He's still got a ways to go here. I'm going to start doing what I call the arc, which is where I start walking kind of a semicircle around the horse. And when the horse gives his hip away from me, moves his hip away from me, then I'm going to stop and back up. And you'll watch for this. This is his most difficult side. He doesn't really understand what I want yet. But when he starts moving away, I stop, and then he'll look at me and I'll move away. Try again. So right now we're just trying to establish this line of communication. So the minute he turned his hip away, I stopped, lost his attention there a little bit. So it's obvious to me that he's not really ready to have this conversation yet. So we're just going to go back to work. Now you saw me get after him there, and that's because he just stopped. Again, he doesn't get to decide when he stops and when he goes. And I'm being a little animated about it because I want him to really understand what I want. If I miss those opportunities, it's going to take me longer to get things done with him. But I want you to watch how his canter gets better. This time he already makes one full circle from there, which is where I asked him to go before he went back to a trot. But each time I'm going to expect more and more, better and better. So when I figure out where he's trying to cheat me and going to the trot, you'll see I'll pick up a little bit of extra energy here to push him through that so that he would eventually maintain that canter all the way around. And remember, this is just him trying to figure out my language, and that when I say go, I mean go. You can't teach a horse if he won't go forward. You can't even teach a horse to stop if he won't go forward. So forward movement in a horse is so important. Through the course of this round penning, I'm not just running him mindlessly in a circle. I am looking for things. I'm looking for him to talk to me, and I'm wanting him to understand what I want from him. And this all falls in line with the 3 principles of horsemanship that I teach, which is ancient principle, ancient philosophy. And that's intuition, control, and trust. And intuition is something that takes time to acquire. That's why they call it a woman's intuition, not a little girl's intuition. Because of a woman's experience, she can oftentimes tell a lot about a person, especially men, in the very first few minutes of meeting them. So, understanding what a horse is going to do before a horse does it is intuitive, and that takes time to learn. The second principle is control. I need to be able to control this horse's feet, where he goes, how fast he goes, when he stops, when he backs up. Because if I can't have control of those parts of a horse, I'll never be able to trust that horse, which is the third principle in the concepts of horsemanship that I teach. So if I can't trust him, then our relationship is going to be very, very difficult. Having said that, I also have to be able to control myself, control my tools, control my emotion, control my anxiety. And I don't want to get too upset at the horse because it doesn't do any good. So I have to control those emotions. So we're back to walking the arc. And I'll come back to these principles of horsemanship in a minute. So back to walking the arc. And I want you to watch how much better So Be It does this time around. You're going to watch, and he's not going to wander off so far. See, here he's trying to figure it out. His head is down. He's trying to figure out just exactly what is the answer to this question. right here he starts to walk off and he goes, wait a minute, if I'll stand still, maybe he'll just leave me alone. So we walk the ark from side to side. The way this horse shows that he respects me as the leader is he moves his hip over and out of the way and faces me. Just like that. And that takes a little bit of time for a horse to figure out. But these are all the very beginning basic building blocks of communicating with my horse without him having a halter or lead rope on. And you'll notice that as I walk the ark, every time that horse steps toward me, I'm stepping back. Every time he acknowledges respecting me by moving his hip, I'll try to back up and let him rest for a little bit. And you'll notice each time I walk the ark, I get closer and closer and closer to him. So I'm watching for him to start taking steps toward me. And that's going to take some time because he's got to trust me. He's got to trust that I'm not going to hurt him and that he can have confidence in my leadership. And that all takes time for a horse. But as you can see, he gets better and better and better. And instead of wanting to lean, now he wants to stop and think and figure things out. So I'm really teaching So Be It to learn, teaching him how to learn, so that as we progress in his basic education here, that the next thing that I ask him to do will come easier for him. And then ultimately, when he goes on, to his high school and higher education, as far as racing, whoever gets him and trains him will have a horse that knows how to learn, and not a horse that he's going to have to fight with and wrestle with every step of the way. So Be It is doing pretty good, giving his hip in each direction. So I'm going to let him rest here for a little bit, and then we're going to go the other direction. We're going to go counterclockwise. Now, one of the things that people say is you've got to train the other side of the horse's brain. Well, I don't know about that. In other words, they think that you have to spend as much time on one side as you do the other. And I'm not really convinced of that. I think that there's a lot of transfer from one side to the other, and you're going to notice that when we start working So Be It going counterclockwise. Some things are going to come really easy to him. Like, very easy for him to move off that slightest bit of pressure. And you're going to notice that it's much easier for him to canter. Why? Because he already figured out that on the other side. So yes, I think that you need to try to balance your horse. I'm right-handed. I write with my right hand. I don't spend any time trying to figure out how to write with my left hand. If I'm forced to do it, I can do it. But I don't spend any time at it because for me, that's not very important to me. It doesn't mean a whole lot to me in my life to be able to write left-handed. So I don't worry too much about this idea that a horse has to be taught everything from one side to the other, requiring the same amount of time, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Because you're going to see here that when I ask So Be It to canter here coming up, he's going to step right off into that canter. And he's going to hold that canter much better than he did when he was going counterclockwise. So back to the issue of trust. If I can't control my emotions, then I'm always getting upset and hollering and yelling. This horse is never going to be able to trust me. I need that horse to trust that I'm not going to hurt him, and that everything that I'm going to show him won't hurt him either. And that's the importance of control and trust, not just for the horse, but also for me as the trainer. And you'll notice that cantering this direction, clockwise, much easier for So Be It than it was going the other direction. And I've already asked him to go to a trot. His trot's still a little frantic, still waiting for him to lick and chew. His ear is certainly fixed on me. I'll wait for him to lick and chew, and then as soon as he does, I will take that pressure off. So you're going to notice that we don't work near as long going clockwise as we did counterclockwise. And you might be asking yourself, why not? And the reason is he figures it out. There's no reason for me to continue to run him in the circle if he understands what he wants and he responds. So the quicker that he figures it out, the quicker he's going to find rest. Horses only want two things in life. They want food and they want comfort. And a horse will forego eating in order to be comfortable. So once he gives me the proper signs that I'm looking for and I let him rest, that's going to register in his mind. And he's going to try to figure out how to make that happen quicker and quicker and quicker so that he doesn't have to work as long. Now there's a little bit more to this video that I couldn't put on here because I can't get them uploaded if I got too much information. I guess there's a way, but I don't know how to do it yet. Tomorrow or the next day I'll give you the second half of this. And the second half of this is when I actually put a lead rope and halter on him, and then we're able to fix some things up, help him learn to lead. So he's giving me the licking and chewing, and so now I'm going to let him rest for just a little bit, and then we're going to start walking the arc. Now you notice I haven't stopped in the same place because he understands that he got to rest over there. Eventually we'll move that around to other places in the round pen, but initially I want to use a place that he already knows as being a comfortable place. So I want you to watch how quick he gets the idea of yielding his hindquarters to me this time around as opposed to last time when he was going counterclockwise. He still waits, he still waits. When he starts to wander off, I'll stop and you watch. He turns around and looks and he goes, oh, that's the deal. If I will just move my hip, he will walk away and leave me alone. So this is So Be It's hard aside. And now I'm getting him to take a step or two toward me. And every time he takes a step or two toward me, I'm going to be moving away from him. So here comes a step, and I just wait on him, and I walk away, and there he takes 1, 2 steps toward me. So now I'm teaching him that he can follow me if he likes. He can have confidence. I'm not going to hurt him. And as a matter of fact, if he'll take those steps toward me, I'll sure enough leave him alone. So that pretty much is what this video is designed to do, is to show you how I get a horse to respect my space, respect me as a leader. Got a lot more coming, and we'll be following So Be It's career here at the ranch with us. Appreciate all of your support. If there's anything that we can do to help you and your horse, I hope you let us know. Adios.